Coming up on Hold All Tickets this week, we dissect racing right around Australia as well as looking at Mr. Brightside's tilt at glory in Hong Kong. And Jim and I are lining up on one at big odds in the Sangster Stakes.
Yeah, we see eye to eye in the Sangster, so hopefully we have a bit of joy there. And I'm pretty keen on one at Randwick at big odds in the first.
Tune in now, Hold All Tickets. Welcome to this week's edition of Hold All Tickets, brought to you by BoomBet. Great fixed odds, more value and more boom moments. Sign up today and get in on the boom. Alex is on yet another junket. It was Gather Round a couple of weeks ago. Now he's in Hong Kong. So it's James Lamb in the host chair, and pro punter James Molony is once again my guest. Welcome, James.
Thanks for having me back.
James squared. We'll do it all again. Your tips can be found on RaceNet IQ, but you'll be giving us your best bet, next best, and best value for Randwick on Saturday. Also get your top tips for the two Group 1s in Adelaide, the Australasian Oaks and the Sangster Stakes, and your thoughts on the Quokka over in the West. So plenty of racing right across Australia on Saturday. Fair bit of form to dissect this weekend. Plus, of course, we have the Monster weekend, Monster meeting at Sha Tin on Sunday, where we got a couple of Aussies flying the flag there as well. So huge weekend of racing. Before we dive into all that, shout out to Thoroughbred Sales, who are the #1 online horse platform for owners looking to buy a racehorse with over 130 trainers and syndicators to choose from. Horses will also be eligible to run in their new $4 million race series with over 400 races having a bonus. We'll get to your set shortly, but as always, we will start with the Self-Trumpeters of the week. No massive votes this week, sort of quite consistent across the board. So we've got a few 2s and 1 3. We'll start off with Super Multi-Man at Nick Cat for 2 votes. I think you'd know this bloke from social media. He blew up a couple of years ago with some outrageous multi-work. I think it was on a Sunday. He netted about a 6-figure collect.
Nice.
With Bet365. He's still whacking away on the punt. He hasn't quite reached those heights since then, but he posts his bet usually before the race has been run, but not on this occasion. So last night at Happy Valley, after the first race was run, Super Multi-Man posted a bet slip showing 25 each way on Winning Heart at $17 with the caption, "Just sat down before the first went off. Sorry, no time to post." So he's posted the winning slip after the race has been
that's
run.
all right. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. $500 collect for Multi-Man.
That's the back the field and then post after type setup.
So I don't think he would have posted the bet if he had a loss in the first
I doubt
race.
it.
So he gets 2 votes for that. 2 votes also for John Kanga. We love the Kanga here on Hold All Tickets, and he loves deploying a bit of third-person Kanga usage, which we always enjoy. So a punter asked Kanga on X to bring back 99-cent party pies to the track. Go back a fair way for that. Kanga replied with, "Blind taste tests are underway. Kanga is the fast food king," talking about himself. So we love his use of third person, the Kanga. He gets 2 votes. 2 votes for JTTU at Time Taken Up. Luke Marlowe, race caller, he asked punters to send through their highlights of the autumn Sydney Carnival, and this punter replied with, "Hitting the big 6 on both days of the championships. Derby winner was good too." So I went back and had a look, and the big 6 on Doncaster Day paid $14,000 with a $7,000 jackpot, and the big 6 on Queen Elizabeth Day paid $28,000 with a $4.5K jackpot, and Mr. JTTU has picked up both.
Well,
The space of 2 weeks. So
not
well
bad.
done to him.
Letting him know about it too. Good on him.
Yep, post-race. So 2 votes for JTTU and 3 votes this week to round us out. Jason Whelans, incredible bit of post-race expertise. Well, not even expertise, just post-race gloating from Jason here. So after Swift Falcon went like a busted ass last week, punters tweeted out, I think it might have been Jet in the chair last week, he tweeted out, "Swift Falcon can take a big jump into the sea," with a gif of the ocean. And Jason replied with, "Well, I backed the winner, so there's that." Full stop. The winner was Shangri-La Spring at $16. Jace hadn't said or typed a word pre-race, but happy to chime in.
I told you to jump lead win.
Yep.
After the race.
Yep, after the race. So 3 votes for Jace, and that rounds us out. No changes to the leaderboard there. Kanga just chipping away, but he's probably not going to threaten the top 3, which is Xavier Pegham on 14, the Hawk 21, and Miles Fitzner on 28. So the top two there look to have it between them. Before we get into this week's tips, we do need to hold ourselves accountable, as we always do, and recap last Saturday's set. I'll start with Alex at Randwick, who's not here to defend himself. Best bet, race 4, number 1, Clean Energy. Victim of an average ride again. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Not much luck in Sydney this prep for that horse.
No.
Next best, he had Tabby Time to place. It was a little bit of a cowardly next best, but ran second, and the place bet was never really in doubt there, so we'll give him a tick there.
It's a good run first up.
Yeah, so found the line nicely, probably one to follow. The value was race 3, number 7, Mason Lewis, who was scratched and then won at Canterbury a few days later, so partial credit for Alex there. Didn't get the chockies at Randwick, but then fronted up at Canterbury. My tips at Mornington. Bit of a dirty day, to be honest. Best bet was Berkshire Breeze in the feature. Disappointing effort. Just sort of crabbed around the turn and then wanted to sort of lay in on runners down the straight. I'm not sure if Mornington is the track for him, but he's been a bit of a disappointing horse since showing a lot of promise when he first arrived in Australia.
Sort of looms a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, yep. Although, he's been good at Flemington. Maybe that's the track for him. Next best was race 10, number 2, Prancing Spirit, which, look, it's easy in hindsight. It always is, but probably better off leading rather than taking a sit. It was held up at a vital stage and got out late, but just couldn't peg down the leader. Good run, but not good enough for us.
Plunge too.
And the value was race 2, number 9, Dane on Tour, who got into the minor money, so something there for each way punters. So we avoid the strip out thanks to the value getting in to third. Time to get into the tips for this Saturday. We'll start with the thoughts of our sponsor, Boom Bet. Great fixed odds, more value, more boom moments. Sign up today and get in on the boom. The boom odds horse this week is Overpass in the Quokka. So that's the horse they're willing to take on. If you log into your Boom Bet account, you'll see inflated odds for the Gun Bjorn Baker Sprinter. Reminder that T's and C's apply and to gamble responsibly. Chris from Boombet has also sent through some notes regarding the early betting action on Saturday. We'll start with the Oaks. He says all the betting has been on moving out so far. Tiny drift for that galloper, but it's been the most popular with punters. Two Done Lizzie has been back, but Chris thinks it's too short in the market, expects a bit of a drift there. And Bennegill has moved out to as much as $4.20, but they think that is overs. So expecting money for Bennegill. The Sangster, one of the more open races you'll see. The only action of note has been on the two roughies, A Little Deep and Aviatress, attracting money. Asfura, price looks significant overs for them. I thought the 1200 might have been a bit dodgy for Asfura, but Chris thinks otherwise. Street and Angel, I expect to attract bets as we're taking it on, but this is definitely one race where you should follow the money. And lastly, the Quokka. Overpass. Slightly under the odds. That's probably why they've got it as their boom horse. Expecting it to drift out to $2.20 or beyond. Front page looks to be the best value in the race. We'll start with the Group 1s in Adelaide. We'll get your thoughts there. Who do you like in the Australasian Oaks?
I like Two Done Lizzie. I was surprised at the price. I thought I was going to be shopping on Wednesday and maybe pick up $8 or $9, but they certainly haven't missed her. I think she gets a nice, well, she looks like one of the only speed influencers in the race. She probably leads from barrier 10. It was a really hot early speed last start over 1,600 metres at Moonee Valley, where she got a little bit of pressure early and insisted early on in going to the front. Her recent trial at Caulfield I thought was good enough, but just from a map perspective, like I just think she's going to be there and she may prove hard to catch late. Preliminary is the one I'm scared of probably the most, but yeah, I've got Two Done Lizzie. I'd be surprised if she starts shorter than the current price now of like, what, $4.20. I think that's a bit short.
Does look rough. I was really keen on her at the Valley that day, and I was pretty disappointed with the run, but yeah, maybe in a race where, as you mentioned, there's not a lot of pressure, maybe she just pinches a few easy sections.
Who do you like?
I'm with Bennegill, Fazara and Glenn Thompson. Second in the Vinery last start to Treasure the Moment, which absolutely looks the right form for this. Finished well clear of the rest, and don't think there's any reason why she can't hold her form fourth up. The only real knock I can see is the wide gate. If they go back and there isn't a whole lot of speed in the race, it might be hard to run down the the leaders' horses like Too Darn Lizzie, but I think she's got the right form line coming in. The Sangster, this is a wide open market. At the time of recording on Thursday, Climbing Star, narrow favourite from Stretton Angel and Commemorative, but that could definitely swing around by Saturday. Interestingly, we are both lining up on a roughie.
I know, there you go, hey?
You can give us your thoughts first.
Hopefully it's a sign of things to come. I thought Amina's recent 1,000-metre Caulfield trial win was impressive. I think she's got plenty of upside. I would probably just say that I would hope that she's away a bit more positively here. I think if she lacks speed from barrier 8, there's plenty inside that'll probably kick up and she might get in a questionable position. For a Group 1 1,200-metre race, there's not a huge amount of speed in the race. But yeah, purely at the price, I thought she was a nice bet.
No, I agree. When you look at a race like this, you do try to find horses that are over the odds. And Amina sort of jumped off the page with the 3 trials or jump outs leading in, won 2 of them. 2 from 2 went fresh, including a Group 2 win in Sydney over this trip. Group 2 in Sydney is probably somewhat similar to a Group 1 in Adelaide. No disrespect there, but no superstars in this race. So I'm keen to be with Amina at a big price. Jamie Mellon takes the ride, and yeah, middle gate looks favourable provided she's not slow away.
Yeah.
You'd like to see her sort of blend into the race from midfield.
I think it's a great betting race, particularly late. Like if one of them are a severe drifter like Aviatrix, Stretton Angel, Climbing Star, you could probably have something on them at double figure odds. I think it's a really good betting race.
Yep. We'll hop over to WA for the Quokka. Ascot Weight for Age race over 1,200. Overpass going for his 3rd win in this race, and he's the clear favourite to do so. Headwall, second fave, and then the local Western Empire. Jim, who do you like here?
Yeah, with absolutely no confidence. I've sided with Headwall. I'm looking at the race from a map perspective, and I'm pretty sure they're going to go at a genuine early clip. And Headwall hasn't really had a sort of a cutthroat early pace in the race so far this prep. You look at obviously he's travelled around a bit. He's gone for the Newmarket.
Yeah, he's running some hot races
up to Sydney and then over to Perth. But I sort of like the Jolly Star Newmarket form, and then obviously chasing home a few smart ones in the TJ. I'm siding with Headwall, but not with a great deal of confidence.
Yep. I'm with Overpass. He's a beast in WA. 4 from 4 there, and all of those over 1,200 conditions. The weight for age conditions of the race suit him, and Bjorn. That stable is showing no signs of slowing down. Eventually, you'd think things have to change a little bit, but he's just flying everywhere he goes. I think he'll be in front with 100 to go. It's just whether the swoopers and the early pressure will take its toll late. But we've seen him in WA. He looks there to be beaten, and he just keeps kicking in the straight. So I'm with Overpass. Would like to see him drift out a bit, but I think it's sort of $2.20 or thereabouts. He's a good bet. Time to have a look at Randwick. Your best bets on the card there. It's not exactly autumn carnival levels of quality, but still winners to be found. Where do we go for your best bet?
Yeah, if you back a winner in benchmark 72, you still get paid out the same.
Exactly.
So Zellersley, I thought was the best on the card. It's getting to a short enough quote now. I think potentially maybe we wait and we see if we can get a little bit better than the $1.80. But yeah, I think it was a really gallant effort first up at Warwick Farm. If you watch the race, sort of got caught on heels, 300 out from the line on a day when you didn't want to be anywhere near the rail. So it was forced wide and only just bobbed out at the finish. So I'm expecting a big run second up.
Yeah, bookie's betting 125% this early on, so maybe that horse will get out to even money or better. Next best goes around in race 8.
Yeah, I thought Ducasse coming out of the Doncaster Prelude was a nice bet. I think there's plenty of early speed in this race with Major Beale, Punch Lane, Cool, Jakey all going forward, and if they can go at a genuine early speed, I think that Ducasse might be the late closer. If you go to last prep, run in the big dance was huge, settled better than midfield off a hot early speed, and then sort of really boxed on late was chasing home Gringotts, who's come out and won the George Ryder. So I think that Ducasse should get the chance on Saturday.
One at each way odds. You keen on one in race 5?
Yeah, I thought Miracle Spin wasn't a bad play in race 5. The reason being, drops 6 kilos here after coming out of a benchmark 85 at Doomben last start. His recent Warwick Farm 1200 metre trial was I thought was pretty good. He made up late ground in the middle of the track when asked for a bit of an effort. And the sort of the $12, $14, I could make a case of Miracle Spin. I didn't think it was an extremely strong race, to be honest.
Where would you imagine he'll settle from barrier 2?
Oh, probably buried back last on the rail.
Yep, so we'll need a bit of luck.
With no speed in the race.
I was thinking that might be the case.
Yeah, like obviously it's going to need luck at probably a key stage or multiple key stages. But yeah, I didn't think it was a very strong race. So one at double figure odds.
Before we move on, you mentioned off air that there was one in race 1 that you thought was big overs.
Yeah, they open 100 to 1. 100's not there, but I'm not being Mr. Hindsight. You can still get $50, which 50 to 1, which I'd be happy to.
We're not going to sneeze at $50.
I'd be happy to take. Throw it in a double or something if you're really, really petty. But Federal Reserve in the first. So had a Newcastle trial on the 22nd of October and then did plenty wrong in that trial. So it was obviously taken out for a bit of a spell or re-educated. But then on the 11th of April, had a nice barrier trial over 900 metres at Rose Hill. Got to the middle of the track late and really responded to riding late, making up significant late ground. And just sort of the last furlong or two of that trial, I thought that's not a 100 to 1 shot or a 50 to 1 shot. So I can make a case for Federal Reserve in the first on Saturday.
Yeah, like it. Fairly astute operator too, Sarah Ryan. So hopefully Federal Reserve can get punters off to a good start. Even if we can get into a drum at $10 the place. That'd be a great start to the day. We'll move on to the Valley. The Bureau, the weather forecasters haven't really done us much of a favour here, predicting 5 to 25 mils on Friday. So if it's 20 or more, we could be racing on a rain-affected track. So I've played it pretty safe with my best bet. I've gone with a horse that definitely does handle wet conditions. It's quite short now, though. It's been smacked since markets open. That's race 2, number 4, LOU, well placed to make it back-to-back. Moonee Valley wins. He led throughout to score in benchmark 78 grade over this route last start, and this really doesn't look much harder at all. He was up against Pivot City last time, who's come back in really good form. There's no Pivot City here. Drawn well. I think he'll probably lead or at least settle in the first couple, and as I mentioned, a bit of give in the surface won't hurt him at all. So $1.80 or thereabouts as we record, hoping we get a little bit more juice in the price, but he does look the hardest to beat on the card. Next best, race 3, number 1, She's All Shenanigans. Was well held last start, but a sluggish start was costly there. She's usually much quicker into stride, so I'm going to put that down as a bit of an aberration. She'll need to jump a lot better in this from barrier 1, but I think if she jumps cleanly for the 3 kilo claimer, Logan Bates, she's going to be out in front and she's going to be very hard to run down in benchmark 78 grade. We've seen her perform well in much stronger races than this, so we just need her to jump. I think we'll know our fate after the first 50 metres.
Drawn well.
Yep, just needs to get out of the stalls. And best value, race 6, number 2, Dollar Chaser, $14. Good name for a best value. Was good without much luck last start. Finished 2.25 lengths off. A couple of inform gallopers in Heart of Glass and Prancing Spirit. So this looks an easier affair and drops 1 kilo thanks to Cartwright's claim. I actually thought when I was doing the form that this horse would be sort of $26 or thereabouts, but 14 will do as our best value on the card. I don't have any 100 to 1 shots or 50 to 1 shots to steer you into.
They got a lob though. That's the problem.
That's right. So let's finish it up with the yays or nays for this week. I don't know how much form you've done for Sha Tin. It's still a fair way off, but Mr. Brightside will win Sunday's Group 1 Champions Mile in Hong Kong. Yay or nay?
Will is a strong word.
It is a strong word.
Yeah,
I went with a strong word.
I've used it in the past.
I didn't want to go with can win.
Yeah.
You can sit on the fence, so I went with will.
I'll say nay.
Yep.
It's not to say that he can't. The favourite brings pretty strong form. The Hong Kong Gold Cup, Stewards Cup, the mile. I mean, yeah, it looks really strong. Look, I'm not completely in the weeds with the racing over there. What I will say is I'd probably say that the voyage bubble might start really short if that world pool gets a hold of it. So maybe if you're keen on backing Brightside, maybe wait. But yeah, I'm not too sure.
Yep. No, I'm a nay. I think, the local champ, voyage bubble, extremely hard to beat as the markets sort of suggest. I mean, it's always tough for the horses from Australia to come in and knock off horses that have lived and raced in Hong Kong for years. Like, it's a tough jurisdiction, and many of the Aussie horses that go there to race, they take quite a bit of time to find their feet over there, and we're sort of hoping that Mr. Brightside can do it first up against elite milers. Like, he's obviously tough as they come, but I think he faces a pretty tricky assignment there. So maybe place only for Mr. B. The other one, Swift Falcon, can't run 2,000 metres, yay or nay?
I'll say nay. Can't run 1,800. No, I think that the way, just the race pattern, it's just what you got to, sort of the medicine you got to take with Swift Falcon. I think from memory probably went one run extra this prep. And then you look at sort of Broadsiding's campaign, was one run less. Maybe it was just a bridge too far this prep, but there was he could have easily won 2 or 3 races this prep. It's just you settle that far back and you don't get a strong early speed, and that's what's going to happen, I suppose. So yeah, I would say I'd probably agree with that. Probably doesn't run a strong 2,000, but the race pattern doesn't help.
Yeah, I think. No, I think he can run 2,000, but he's one of those, as you sort of alluded to, he's one of those Goldilocks horses that just needs everything to go just right. Like, he needs to find the right spot in running, get the right tempo. He was sort of ridden against his pattern last time and it backfired. But look, he was less than a length off Broadsiding and Aliana over 2,002 back, so he's not a slug at 2,000. No. He's just, I wouldn't be. If he came up sub $3 in a 2,000 metre race, I wouldn't be piling in, but I can see him pinching a decent race at double figure odds. He's one that you wouldn't want to be leaving out of quaddies and whatnot, but I wouldn't rule him out of winning over 2,000 next prep. Too many colts are being retired to stud early, and it's a problem for racing in Australia. Yay or nay?
I'd probably say nay, with a caveat that I probably don't know the exact numbers of the frequency of retirees now, compared to 10 years ago.
Yep.
I remember sort of losing Merchant Navy in Australia pretty quickly, and then him going over there, winning at Ascot and being worth an absolute fortune at studs. So it can work out. Obviously, in recent years, we've got the Autumn Sun, now Broadsiding Switzerland. So I'm sure there are a couple then that would have gone on and probably been champions. Then you sort of got to weigh up how many what are they producing? What's their crop like? Is it worthwhile them actually, retiring them at that younger age? So yeah, I'd probably sit on the fence if I'm allowed.
You're allowed. I'm with Yay. I think it's a problem without an obvious solution though. Like, the Golden Eagle was brought in to keep the gun 3-year-olds racing for another season, but it hasn't really worked in that regard. Like, it's a great race, but it's been more of a magnet for like gun international horses coming and chasing the big money rather than the star colts.
And it's almost sort of an afterthought as well for runners who probably not going to get the trip but might be able to drop back. So yeah, I can agree with that.
And you can't make owners keep their horses racing. So I'm not sure what can be done to keep the talent on the park for longer. Maybe that's just the new normal now, that we're going to see the gun colts retired to stud, because the breeders, I think Broadsiding or might be Switzerland standing for 66,000. Like, it's just crazy money. So you can see why they're doing it. But it is disappointing to lose, some of our best 3-year-olds without seeing them tested in, open company. That's it from us today. That's the yays and nays done and dusted. Thank you once again for filling in, James.
Thanks, James. Hopefully we'll do it again sometime.
Hopefully your $51 chance can get up and you'll be back every week. Reminder, you can get all of James's tips via RaceNet IQ. Thank you also to our sponsors, BoomBet. Great fixed odds, more value, more boom moments. Sign up today and get in on the boom. If you enjoy listening or watching Hold All Tickets, give us a like and or a follow on our various platforms. Punters YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, leave a review. And most importantly, hope you back a winner or 3 this Saturday and Sunday. And go Pies on Anzac Day. What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.